Gotta love that voice. So hi, everyone. My name's Brittany Applegate, maybe a new face for some of you. I've been involved in the Iowa After School Alliance for a few years and actually had Crystal's position with the Iowa After School Alliance before she transitioned. So I'm just filling in right now. We're working on hiring someone and have a few candidates in mind. So hopefully in the next month or so, you'll have a permanent replacement, but I'm filling in the meantime. So I was hoping for attendance purposes today, you could all just put your name, organization in the chat. And, you know, it's cold out, but spring is on the way. So I thought if we could all just share in the chat something about spring that we really love or that we are looking forward to. For me, it would be riding my bike and going on bike rides and kind of being back outside in nature a little bit more. So if you all could share that in the chat while we get started, that would be excellent. And then let me go ahead and pull up the agenda for us while you all are introducing yourselves in the chat. Seen some great things, everything turning green again. I know that makes a big difference. It feels nice when you start seeing green again and it's not all dead. Coaching tennis in March, that's exciting. Yeah, lots to look forward to. So we just got to keep our eye on the spring. Bike rides and marathons. I agree on the bike rides, not so sure about the marathons, but good for you. Vic, is there anything about spring that you were really looking forward to?
No more snow.
Yeah, I know. That'll be nice. Well, thank you for doing that. Good way to start the day, I think. So our first item on the agenda is professional development. So I wanted to share that Crystal participated in the U.S. Department of Education's training called Think Globally, Teach Locally, which had an environmental focus on upper elementary school through high school aged youth. And the training provided different activities, including an EPA flag project, an energy game, again, all environmentally focused for this training. And the recording can be found on this link. And in the agenda here, you can see that if you scroll 3/4 of the way down, you'll be able to find the recording and get access to those activities too. So I'll put that in the chat as well for everyone. The other thing is just an update on the booster pack, Possible Futures booster pack. So this is a reminder, I believe Crystal sent out a note to all of you about this. This is just a reminder that we did apply for that, and Boys and Girls Club said that they would be interested in participating with us. This is essentially just giving us access to curriculum that would bolster programming for middle school and high school aged youth. And we would kind of be participating in a pilot project and think about how we would roll this curriculum out to sites in the future and future years too, including all of you. Even if you're not participating in this booster pack with us, you would be able to benefit from the curriculum too. Again, this comes at no cost to the Iowa After School Alliance or any of you, but we will be doing this 5-week series if we're accepted. We haven't heard back yet, but it's looking pretty favorable for us. So we'll be sure to keep you posted once we hear more about this, and make sure we share resources and everything we're learning with you all too, because it has a really strong link to the career pathways that we're working on here. And then finally, we have a professional development on the books, training on the books in March. And we are looking at potential topics for that. We have a few in mind, so we'll make sure you all get that agenda once that's confirmed. But as always, if any of you have any ideas about professional development that you would like, that would really benefit what you're doing for the OSTCP program, please feel free to reach out to me and send your ideas my way. Even if you don't know who could do the training, but you have ideas of topics, we'd be happy to hear those and happy to track down some good experts to get you the support you need. So always know that that's an option for you. Vic, I think that's all I have for professional development. Next, we have financials. Do you want to take that?
Sure.
Okay.
let me share my screen.
Oh, yep. Let me stop sharing mine.
Okay, there we go. And I got too many documents. It's going to take me a sec here.
I know that always bogs me down when I'm trying to share my screen too.
There we go. Okay, I had a meeting with the feds. We've got, a new person for the OSTCP. And it's actually right now, it's the person that's running the 21st century because they've got a new person and the other one retired. And the good news is they accepted my proposal for carryover. So if you look here in the numbers, the total for 2 years is $930,000. We only spent last year $127,350. So we're carrying over $802,649. And that'll be reflected when you get your new contracts. I'll be working on that as soon as I get done with the data for the peer review. And in addition to that, I'm also working on the state evaluation. But it's in my queue to get that data across, and that's certainly some good news for us. Let me show you some other stuff here. The things that we discussed with them. And let me move this down here so I can. There we go. The discussion topics, they wanted to know a little bit about the annual meetings they had. They are planning their summer symposium. And let me give you a heads up, there's going to be a part in there for the OSTCP grantees, and they want Iowa to share. So that's not a bad thing when you get requested to share what you're doing. So keep that in mind and maybe think about some of the good things that have happened in your program that we can share out this summer. And they were asking me about, carryover funds. And I told them that we're hoping to recruit more students and hire probably some more staff to support those students. But we're further ahead than the other states, so we're in good shape on that. And then they wanted to know what we do for monitoring. And this meeting is acceptable as a form of federal monitoring because we have some time for you guys to share out. You guys can ask questions, and that satisfies those federal requirements. So does anybody have any questions now on this, about the carryover?
Will this carryover be strictly added on to next year, or will it be distributed evenly throughout the next 4 years?
No, the carryover is, we've got basically 2 years worth of money to spend by the end of December. The pandemic allowed the feds to grant us this carryover. So I wouldn't plan on, if you didn't spend it by December, that we might just get our normal allocation. Unless, of course, we have a flare up with another strain of the pandemic. So it's hard to predict, but I would try to spend all that money. And if you guys need some help, certainly I'll meet with you guys and we can strategize some of the things you can do to make sure you're using all of your award. Good question. Any more questions? Okay, So don't forget to, keep track of your attendance, track of your community partners who are providing those experiences for the youth, because that's very important. All right, I'll stop sharing this. And we'll go back here and.
Thanks, Vic.
Yeah.
We'll pull the agenda back up just because there's a couple reminders there. But no, I have a bunch of documents up and I've got to find it again. Okay, here we go. So again, with financials, a reminder that contracts are coming in March. So we'll keep you posted on that. And then again, to always make sure you're always reporting attendance and enrollment for all reports and claims. That's really important. Anything more to add on those pieces, Vic?
No, I'll have to have a meeting to get your stuff added into CASA. It may not actually go into CASA until the next fiscal year, but rest assured, you shouldn't be running out of money.
Great, thank you. A couple other items on the agenda here, just a couple of resources that I sent out via email along with the agenda. So there's this 5 steps to becoming an apprentice. What can you do locally? And then the U.S. Department of Labor apprenticeship works for you. So again, just more information for you all about apprenticeships, which are an important aspect of this OSTCP grant and career pathways in general. Vic, did you have anything else to add on either of those pieces?
Well, yeah. We can always do a session on going over apprenticeships with that material. That's some stuff that I came across and I thought it would be useful for you. Mm-hmm. Another thing I want to mention is Owine had asked me, they wanted to participate with a program called IJAG. Mm. I put a link in the chat to that. And it's a great program. And so this week I met with one of the board members and we were talking about the program. However, it's a during the school day program. So while they're doing a lot of things with career exploration, our funding is specific to being spent outside of school hours. So they can, if they want, do some things outside of school time, or they can provide some of those experiences during the school day for the same kids that are in our program. You just got to be careful. If they say there's a fee and it's during the school day, you can't use this money for that. So, it is a good program. But, I don't want you to get into trouble with the finance part. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. We may be having somebody from IJAG do a little presentation, but we'll be talking about how participation can happen with that program in a way that's not going to get you in trouble. But one of the things, the job shadowing from Mercy is a pretty nice one. They're looking to hire 400 people in Iowa, and that's just Mercy. And, there's other medical groups around the state. And they're so desperate, they've created a job shadow program to get people interested in healthcare. So that might be, if you have Mercy facilities near you, you may want to contact them and see what they can work out for some of your students. Partnerships are everywhere. And there was on the radio, somebody's offering a $10,000 sign-in bonus. And they've got like over 30 jobs open that they need people for. So I called them and I, got transferred around a little bit, and they said they're going to get back to me. I said, listen, if you're paying $10,000, why don't we work together and create a pipeline for students that, can get an experience with your company, and maybe they'll, want to work there in the future. they may, if when they see what your job requirements are, they may be able to get the skills that you need.
It's a great point, Vic. And I think, you know, there are job shortages or staffing shortages in pretty much every field right now. And I think that provides a unique opportunity for what we're doing here with the OSTCP grant. Maybe there are some business partners or community partners who weren't so sure about working with students before, but now because of staffing shortages, maybe they'll look at this as an opportunity for their field now, to Vic's point, to build a pipeline or to cover some things that they can't cover right now. So I think this creates a new opportunity for all of us in our communities.
Absolutely. And you know, historically, apprenticeship is one of the oldest educational systems. Before they had schools, if you wanted to learn a trade, you went to be an apprentice. Maybe you went to learn how to bake bread. Maybe you went to the blacksmith, you know, maybe you went to a carpenter, and you learned the trade, and that was your job. And that was the biggest education. There was very few people that went to learn how to read and become a scholar. And then there was jobs, you know, copying scrolls and things like that. So it's a time-tested method for giving people the knowledge and skills to do a job that still will work today.
Very true. Any questions about any of those opportunities? Again, those documents were shared with the agenda, so you have access to all of those. I'll send them out again to you when we have the recording uploaded on our website and everything too, so you'll have them again there. Okay, great. Thank you, Vic. I think we're ready to move on to grantee updates and best practices from the field. Ariel, do you want to go first for Boys and Girls Club?
Yeah. All right. So my name is Ariel. I'm from Boys and Girls Club. So one thing that we are focusing on is trying to get speakers from different career fields to come into our clubs. So we partnered with Toyota, and we have a sales manager coming in to talk about getting into sales. And then a person from Principal Financial is going to come. We have some kids that are interested in stocks. So we're going to talk about how to get into that finance world. And then we're planning a lot of college visits as well, so kids can start exploring those options, especially our juniors and seniors.
That's really exciting. Have the students been interested in the speakers? How has that been going?
It's good. And one thing I am a huge advocate for is I want to get speakers who look like them in our club. We partner with Drake, and they are really respectful and great at trying to find people who represent our kids well. The kids, they're more excited about Principal than anything. I think, especially with that being such a huge employer in Iowa, I've been talking about how some opportunities there might not even need college, so they can start making money right away, and that piques some interest too.
Yeah, that's great. If you ever have, if your youth ever have a specific interest and you're having trouble getting connected to employers, please feel free to reach out to me. I can help make connections too, if that's something that would be of interest, but it sounds like Drake is a great partner for you guys and you're getting connected really easily. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Ariel. What about Council Bluffs? Anything from Delisa or Elena?
We just hired on our very first early childhood education into the after school program. So we have our first employee or student working as an employee for the district. So that's exciting, and that's going to grow into hopefully getting paraeducators started in the district with a preschool room. So that's the direction we're heading right now since our last check-in.
Great. Can you talk a little bit about that process of getting to this point where you have your first student working for the district? Has that been difficult? what are like some key things to know through that process?
I don't know. I think the difficult part was the HR factor, because we had in our handbook, you had to be 18, you had to have all this, and then just making sure that our handbook now reflects being able to hire on 16-year-olds and making sure that we're following all of the regulations that go along with having a 16-year-old in a school district working with kids. So.
Mm-hmm. Has there been any training? Like, what does the training component look like? Do they go through all of the training that after school staff go through too?
Yeah, so they're treated exactly like an employee. Everything that they fill out an application, they have to turn in a resume with not resources. Geez, good thing I've lost the name of it. References, and just the whole hiring process. They do a background check, fingerprints, all of it. So they're essentially an employee, and then we're tracking them on our side with the Department of Labor and then all that.
Excellent. That's exciting. And then last question, how are you finding students that maybe have an interest in that? Is it just open application, or are you doing specific outreach to try to identify students this would be a good fit for?
Both, actually. So we have a system that we use, it's called Zello. Mm-hmm. And so all of the opportunities that we have are populated on here. So say they want to be a teacher, they'll go through and they'll see that we have a partnership with our after school program, with our everything that they can do as far as like early childhood education goes. And then they click on an opportunity, and then I get notified and we start their process that way. I also go into the classrooms, so both the high school classrooms, and I'm with the early childhood education students at least 3 times a week, just to check on them, to say hi. And then, we get to talking about opportunities that way too.
Really exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Elena, anything additional to share?
I don't really have anything. I've kind of been a little bit of a fly on the wall, and I know Nikki's worked a little more directly with Lisa with that hiring process, but yes. So I'm just here to listen in.
No problem. I just didn't want to skip over you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, everyone. I'm wondering if there have been any challenges or any lessons learned that you'd want to share with one another as you've been going through this process and really ramping up your projects.
Yeah, they keep talking about the workage or the people shortage, right? Yeah. And people don't want to go back to work. And I'm finding that's actually true with teenagers as well. They're like, no, I don't really want to do that. I mean, I don't have to work, so why would I? And I'm like, where are you finding your money? And can you show me where that's at?
Yeah, how do you get past that? Is it any tips for encouraging them to work or to think about careers?
So, and a lot of them, it's just like, look, think about your long term. You've got your foot in the door. I know you're not, and just trying to encourage them. I'm developing right now like a flyer with the benefits on it. So talking about the certificate that they get from the Department of Labor, the credits that they get at the school while working at a job, getting paid to work and learning, all that. So that's in development right now.
That's great.
Hi. One thing that I've learned, I think, especially after the last 2 years, there's a big need for social emotional learning development. So there's no polite way to say this. You almost have to teach them how to be humans again before it can be like working. So I know one thing we've been trying, we do weekly check-ins just with mental health. We've been trying to partner with our BGCCI on its own, partner with organizations like Pass the Love to bring in professional therapists. I'll run small like creative writing programs with small groups. And even though it's not part of the 21st Century Grant, it gives me an opportunity to like help them with maybe their SEO things they need to address before I can be like, okay, let's start thinking about apprenticeships.
Yes, I think that's really smart, Ariel. And I see how that's a challenge too. I think, I'm sorry, the mailman came and is delivering a package, if you can hear that in the background. I think that the pandemic rocked everyone and everyone's mental health, and especially for youth. So I totally understand just having to rebuild that foundation again. I think the last thing you would want is to send a youth or a student into a workplace situation and they don't have their mental health needs addressed or their social emotional learning addressed. And then it's a bad outcome for both the employer and the student, and could burn a bridge there. So I commend you for that. I think that's really smart to focus on that and build the bridge as you go, kind of. And Ariel, I'm wondering too, when you talk about you have students really interested in stock and finance, how are you figuring out what students are interested in? What does that process look like?
I've been kind of lucky. I have worked with these kids since they were in 6th grade because I've been with the organization. So I have really good relationships. So a lot of it is just talking to them, and we just bring up, oh, what classes do you like? Math. Oh, math, that's cool. What do you want to do with that? So I feel really comfortable in knowing what they want to do. And luckily, I don't have too many who say they want to be TikTok stars anymore. To me, that's a huge growth.
Yes, definitely more realistic.
Yeah.
Great. That's awesome that you have those relationships. Anything else that you want to share? I know Ariel messaged me about some needs that they have around just technical assistance at their site regarding some technology at their site. So Ariel, I'll work on that. But if there's any, professional development or things that you really want to learn more about, apprenticeships, things like that, anything coming to mind that Vic and I can work on and really kind of align some professional development around for you?
I think right now I'd have to think about it, and then I'd probably reach out to you guys.
Yeah, great, no problem.
Yeah, probably the same here too. Talk about it with everybody. Good.
Yeah, please do touch base with your team at your sites and let us know what rises to the top. I think it sounds like things are going well, but we are here to support you and to provide assistance in the best way we can. So please keep us posted. Vic, anything else that you have today? I think that's almost the end of our agenda.
No, this has been good to, listen to what everybody is involved with. And, it seems to me that we need to get kids thinking so that they want to work nowadays. I mean, I started working at 11 and I got up early to deliver papers. And then I had delivered the Detroit News at first, and then I delivered the Free Press. And then so I got up really early for the Free Press and, I did that because I wanted to save to buy a car. My parents were not going to buy me a car when I turned 16. So, sometimes it's difficult to change those attitudes, but also work develops a sense of accomplishment so that your skills and your talent can be a sense of fulfillment. Maybe that's an avenue that we can promote successfully with kids. If they've got, plenty of money, maybe fulfillment is an avenue we can pursue.
Yeah, I agree, Vic. It feels like, you need to connect kids to what their passion is and then figure out how to turn that passion into a career that they can get excited about. So even though they don't feel like they want to work right now, maybe it could get them excited and they don't look at it just like a job. They look at it as something more than that. And I think, some of these kids might not know the jobs that are out there. So what can we do to expose them to different career options? I think that's a big part of this program too. And then maybe they'll find a passion they never even knew they had.
Absolutely. Here's an example off the top of my head. Let's say a kid's interested in music and they say, well, I would really like to learn how to make my own guitar. And lo and behold, just over in Nebraska, there's a guy who had a single back in the 60s, and he retired from playing to become a guitar maker. And it's just, I think it's from Lincoln, Nebraska, Zager Guitars. So, you know, there's actually within reason, a place where someone could learn how to make a guitar.
Yeah, that's a great example, Vic. Well, we won't keep you. We'll give you about 25 minutes back of your time, and just want to say thank you all for making the time to be here today. I think it's so important that we have these check-ins and just make sure we can hear what everyone's doing and provide resources and tips and advice as we go along, since this is new for everyone. I'll be following up with the recording to this, and again, those resources that we shared with the agenda, so you have them handy if you need them. But in the meantime, feel free to reach out to us if you need anything, any support, professional development resources. Ariel, I'll reach out to you about the thing you messaged me about, and we'll see what we can do to help there. But yeah, thank you so much for being here, and never hesitate to reach out.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.